Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast brought by Closures.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Nikki Hardy, the founder of A Sea of Hope Coaching and an ADHD career change coach. She helps adults with ADHD thrive in new careers by navigating employment goals, barriers, and action plans. Her background includes managing caseload for clients with physical or mental health conditions, supporting job retention through employer adjustments, and securing access to work funding for coaching and equipment. With that being said, Nikki, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
It's great to have you on the podcast. Thank you for taking the time. We're going to hop right into the conversation. What I love to do at the beginning of every single episode is a bit of traveling back in time, right? So before you even had your own practice, your company, what were you doing before? And then eventually, what was the motivation for starting the business?
So before I had my business, I worked for the NHS in a clinical mental health team as an employment specialist. And it was whilst I was working there, I got diagnosed with ADHD myself at the age of 43, so 9 years ago. Prior to starting within that role, I trained to be a life coach, and I always knew that I wanted to have a coaching business, and I always knew it was going to be called A Sea of Hope Coaching because I believe in infinite hope. I've got a daughter called Hope, and I live by the sea. But I didn't know what my niche was going to be, and I didn't know what it was going to be about because I didn't know I had ADHD. So it's when I was diagnosed with ADHD, that was it. I knew that was what I wanted to do and what I was going to be.
You knew this is pretty much going to be your calling.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I love that though. And also by you really, you can truly relate to your clients. With you having ADHD yourself, you know exactly what they're talking about. So it just makes you like hell of a lot a better coach for all those people that you're trying to change their life for them, really take them from point A to point B. Now, we're going to talk about the journey and what it really looks like for your clients in a minute. But what I really want to do in this next part of the podcast is just help build some clarity for the audience and the listeners. So, in terms of the process of you deciding who you want to work with, who is the ideal customer, what is that sort of profile that you created for yourself of people that you really want to work with in the first place? And also, what are the core offerings that you currently have in place for your clients?
So the people that I work with are late diagnosed ADHDers who, when you get a late diagnosis, it changes absolutely everything. And it really changes how you see your life to date and your future. And career is a massive part of that. So the people that I want to work with are people that kind of have got to that point of like understanding, well, it wasn't my fault. They realized that it wasn't them that was the problem with their career and their life. It was the fact that they didn't know that they were neurodivergent, and they didn't know why they had the challenges, and they didn't know why they weren't able to reach their full potential. And there's always this void within them. So people who really want to make a change and really, there has to be hope. And this is what hope is. It doesn't matter where somebody is, because it's a really challenging time to get a diagnosis, a lot to work through, but you've got to believe in there's hope and there's possibilities, because there absolutely is. And ADHD has been in the wrong environment, dulls our spark. The environment is huge in how somebody's ADHD shows up. In the right environment where you're able to thrive and where you're able to access your strengths and where you're able to advocate for yourself and know how best you work, what your needs are, that's when everything changes. So what I do is I work with people that want that. They want something different. And that's what I do. I help people. I have got a 14 session structured ADHD career change program that helps people understand their ADHD, make sense of their ADHD career story, be clear on what their ADHD needs are, what their supports are, what their strengths are. And then we go through like a set structured process for people who are wanting to know whether, one, they might be in the right career but they're not, they haven't got the right support, or they want to do something completely different.
Yeah. I absolutely love the angle that you took towards your offer and the coaching that you provide to people. There is a lot of professionals in the space of ADHD. Obviously, there are some core principles that people who are especially late diagnosed really need to understand so they can take their life to the next level and really have a better understanding of why my life looks like what it looks like, right? But specifically in terms of their career, this is one of the biggest parts of our lives. So providing them
Huge.
some clarity in terms of that. Yeah, that's beautiful though. What does the client journey actually looks like? What are the different ways that people can work with you? Is it one-on-one? Is it group coaching? Just tell us more about the offers.
So it's one-on-one. Group coaching is something I'm going to be looking at next year, but it's like I said, it's a 14, the career change program, which is what I do. Have a few ADHD coaching slots, which is just for pure ADHD coaching to help people wherever they are to navigate their late diagnosis. But what I really specialize in is my ADHD Career Compass career change program. So there's, like I said, there's 14 sessions. That's initially working on the ADHD foundations to make, because a lot of people feel like it's their fault. People with ADHD are really hard on themselves. So we really try and build in acceptance, self-compassion, and emotional regulation, and just understanding their brain and what it means to have impaired executive function, and just learning to work with that and really know that what their strengths are and what their values are. People with ADHD, meaning is really important. To have meaning, to have purpose, to be connected to something. And it's always the same. Now, what career somebody wants to go into, it's always about helping the world, helping others in some capacity, always. And that's what makes neurodivergent people really special. But then we go through the second phase is an explore phase, getting really clear on what your strengths are, what your values are, what your ideal work environment looks like, what your work motivators are, what your professional strengths are, etc. And we build canvases, like work and life canvases. People be really clear on what they want from their life and what they want from their work. So they've got a tool to evaluate future life and work choices with confidence. And then we go into the ideas phase, where the sky's the limit. We look at lots of different types of careers and then narrow it down and look at what themes there are, and then get into the action phase, which then looks at where they are now and where they want to go and what the bridge is between the two.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, Nikki, if you're open to it, I would love to talk about also the back-end side of the business. Now, even though you're very driven by the impact that you have on these clients' lives, there is still a different set of questions that you need to be asking yourself as a business yourself, right? A business owner, entrepreneur. So one of the key components of making all of this happen is having a good client acquisition system in place. So my question is, what is it that you do on the front of your marketing and maybe specifically generating contacts and leads for yourself to have the ability to attract the right people, onboard new clients into your programs and keep changing lives?
One thing I did last year, I think it was last year or the year before, I completely rebranded. It was really, I realized I was masking behind my brand and playing safe. And I spent a lot of money working with somebody to rebrand. So my website really reflects me, my logo, my colors. I'm really connected to it all. I've worked with a lot of different coaches to really make sure that my brand voice is, authenticity is really important to me. So everything that I do, I want it to sound like me. So my website, and I know a lot of people comment on my website that they like it. It's not going to be for everybody, because maybe my style is not for everybody, and I'm absolutely fine with that. So I try and be consistent with my branding. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on various different ADHD coaching directories and life coaching directories. So yeah, social media, website, and directories, and networks as well.
Beautiful. Now, when it comes to leveraging the potential of social media, obviously everybody's talking about this today, right? So this is really something that you can use to spread the word about ADHD and all of those issues. So really a big part of making this happen is going to be to continue with generating a ton of content, staying in front of the right people, really getting the message across and building relationship with your audience, right? Now, I'm curious, is everything that you're doing right now on the side of organic, or have you also dabbled into other sources, whether that's strategic partnership, whether that's paid advertisement, just to create something more scalable and predictable? What is your perspective on that?
I've worked a couple of times, probably 3 times, with somebody to set up Google Ads for me when I've needed to. And that has led to more organic search. So I am being more found more organically now. So when I've needed to, because I've only got a certain amount of capacity and I'm usually very close to full, if there has been a time where I've needed to build that, then I have then used Google Ads if I've needed to.
Beautiful. Now, when it comes to taking all of these activities, I'm curious, have you already started building your internal teams, possibly for both sales, marketing, possibly other departments, or is this more like a one-woman show for you?
It is a one. I have got a VA. It is a one-woman show. However, I've worked with lots of different
Hmm.
people. When I need to, I've worked with coach supervisors, coach mentors, business coaches, messaging coaches, brand. Oh, I can't think of what the word is. But yeah, so yeah, when I've need to have, I would like to
Sure.
expand, but at the moment I'm happy as I am. But I access support as and when I need it. And there's quite a lot of ADHD coach networks and also career coach networks, which I'm part of.
Sure, absolutely. What I wanted to talk about is basically like the differentiation between working with outside help and hiring external agencies or coaches in comparison with really hiring somebody internally to be basically an employee or like having somebody who is really working side by side with you. Because from my perspective, this is the way how we can achieve like having complete control over what is being communicated on social media and how it's presented, right? Just to make sure that it is aligned with how you see it and what you want to communicate. So when you think about the future, you just share with us that a part of your plan is definitely grow it further. As of right now, you're happy with what it is. But when it comes to that growth in the future, would you still rather stick to having outside help, or are you considering maybe building your own internal teams for the business?
I think it's a bit of a tricky one. I do work consistently with my VA, and she's brilliant. She helps me with
Mhm.
content and putting content out there. And I think when I do group coaching, I will be working with somebody else. That isn't something that I would want to do on my own. But yeah, I think in the future, I would want to have at least another coach that we're working on growing it as a group coaching program.
I love it. Talking about the future though, especially when you think about the next maybe 6 to 12 months. I'm curious, what would you say are the biggest goals for you, targets, revenue, milestones that you have set for yourself?
It's getting to the end of the year, so that's something I will be considering very soon. But I think I think for the next 6 months, I want to continue to what I'm doing with the my career program, and then start the group coaching program sort of midway through next year. Last business year has been quite challenging for me personally, and because of ill health of family members. So for me, it's been about getting through this year and starting next year with, okay, what is it that I want to achieve? And I have ADHD myself, as I've started saying, and I'm also a single parent. So for me, it's about making sure that I check my capacity and I know what I'm able to do. So burnout isn't something that is ever comes onto my radar anymore.
I got you. I got you. Now, looking at the future, and once you're in a position to really take a more aggressive approach in terms of how this is going to grow, how it's going to scale, when you think about that kind of growth, out of everything, what would you say is really going to be the biggest bottleneck or a challenge to even make it happen?
I think it's finding the right person to work with, or finding the right people to work with. That's really important for me because so I would say, and I'd say that's the biggest challenge for to going from being on my own to finding the right team, the right people to have around me.
Gotcha. So just to clarify, you're talking about other people joining the ecosystem that you're building, working side by side, not in a sense of fighting clients, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, what is your philosophy on this? Because it has become like one of the biggest topics on the podcast when it comes to delegating and really giving the reins away to somebody else joining you. So, what is the thought process that you have in mind in terms of when is maybe the best time to take the next step, hire somebody? Who is that first hire going to be for you? Just share a little bit more in terms of how you're thinking about this.
Again, that's quite a tricky one. When this business is my baby in more ways than one, it's finding the right person, and I don't know what that looks like at the moment or how I would go about that. I would be trusting my intuition.
Yeah, I really appreciate your authenticity on this and the
Mm.
transparency, though. I feel like every single business owner is gonna have to deal with something like this sooner or later. But I would 100% agree with you. The alignment that this is the first thing and the most important thing that we should be looking for in other people, right? If it is not a match, if it is not a fit in terms of their personality, the way they think about the business, the way how they can basically stand behind what you do and what you preach, then it doesn't really matter how much experience they have, how much skill there is. It's just not going to be a fit. It's not going to work out. Beautiful. Nikki, I absolutely love what you're doing for the market, for the industry, for all of the people that you work with. Very happy that you took the time today to share the story with me and the audience. I really appreciate it. If anybody from the listeners wanted to get in touch with you, perhaps even work with you, what is the best way to go about it?
So I'm on all social channels, A Sea of Hope Coaching, but my website is www.aseaofhopecoaching.com, or you can email me at Nikki, Nikki, at aseaofhopecoaching.com.
Beautiful. Thank you again. It was a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
Love it. Now, to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a consultant or a coach, or you have an agency and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io. Get in touch with our team and discover how exactly we scaled our company from 0 to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing, and I'll see you on the next one.